Hello everyone, and welcome to ICSA CreatorCon 2026. This is the third year. So this is the third year. We are redefining what a hackathon can be. And I'm super excited to have everyone here for the next couple of days. And what did we do to redefine this year? What did we change? What did we improve? What did we really focus on? It's all of this. This is our very first dedicated business conference alongside our full-fledged hackathon. So why are we doing this? Why do we go organize a full-fledged hackathon and a conference on top of that? The problem with conferences only is they are really focused on consumption. They are focused on discussions, on talks, on panels, really consuming content and less on building and less on doing. On the other side, the problem with only hackathons is, well, at some point they end. And after a couple of days, you have a good time during the hackathon, you have an amazing spirit, you build a great team, you build a great project, you learn a lot. But after a couple of days, the team spirit kind of fades away slowly. And also, a little bit, the momentum, because again, you just go back into your life, nothing changes. And most unfortunate, for most of the projects, the precious project also slowly dies. And this really sucks. So if hackathons alone is not the ultimate solution, or conferences alone is not the ultimate solution, well, we're doing things differently here. So why are we doing this? Because you need both. And that is one thing that is completely new right now. There are some great conferences that have a hackathon, of course, but it's mostly like an add-on, and some hackathons have talks as well. But this really is a full conference with a full hackathon, and for the next couple of days, you can really be immersed in really amazing hand-selected talks and panels on purpose by design. We didn't do 50 or 100 talks so you're just listening all of the time. We really wanted to focus on a few of them so you can focus on what matters, which is connecting with each other. Also, super networking, because the important thing here is we have an amazing audience coming together here. Why? Because we have tech platforms, we have builders, we have developers, designers, and our enterprise partners. So all of this I will show in a second as well. But that is really kind of the next level networking that is needed as well. The other really cool thing is you guys can test out a lot of unreleased devices. We are cooking. We have so many devices that some of the large companies themselves don't have access to. So there's going to be really cool showcases. We will show about later on as well. You can also test out on the backside some devices and some private sessions too. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities to really see what is the cutting edge technology of what is coming. And then most important, of course, there's going to be lots of parties. Yes, Anthony's happy. Of course, the number one feedback is we need parties because there's no good event without lots of parties. So I don't know, somehow ICSA is famous for its good food and the parties. Let's also see the other things, but that is what we are planning here as well. So what I want to focus on a little bit also is really to build the ecosystem in XR. There's the need to get a certain number of groups together that typically don't come together. Some of these groups you sometimes find at hackathons, some of these groups you sometimes find at conferences. So before I go into all of these combinations, let's first of all introduce these groups, and then you can see, okay, what did we bring here as well. So first of all, a very big warm and welcome to our tech sponsors, Meta, Pico, and Spectacles, now Specs. And really thank you so much for making this happen, for investing into the ecosystem, and really believing in XR despite us dying every single year. And yeah, big round of applause for our tech sponsors. So another thing that is also something we really want to push, because again, in order to actually all of us grow together, is having a lineup of enterprise partners. because of course you have the technology, but it's so important to really focus on the use cases. We need to have use cases that actually solve real problems. So please also welcome and thank you to our enterprise partners investing in innovation and making all of this possible. And many of you are here in the room. There's also a lot of partners that will be here as well. And you will also meet the teams later on building all of these projects coming together. So again, big thank you for all of the enterprise partners. So now we talked about, of course, the tech players, the enterprise partners, which is very, very essential. One big thank you I want to personally give out also, because without you guys, the government support and the institutions, special thanks to Medienboard Berlin-Brandenburg, ZenWeb and Berlin Partner. Without you guys, we would not have the very first XRCC happening, and thanks for the continuous support throughout the years. That is why you guys have amazing food, drinks, and all of this amazing stuff, the venues, all of the cool things. So very, very big thank you to our enterprise, to our government partners as well. And a shout out also to Code University. They are on the other side. Thanks for being super amazing partners too. I had a very, very good time with the hackathon setup so far. Because again, organizing hackathons and conferences is pretty challenging, so big round of applause for our last set of partners here. But of course, okay, the hackers. All of the hackers that are building all of this, that are making all of this possible, yes! So why does it matter? Why do we go all the way to really reach all of these different groups, which is not so easy. It's pretty challenging, of course, because I truly believe that this is how you build true innovation. This is how you build the ecosystem. Because if we have these groups coming together, if we have tech companies working with enterprises who can accelerate innovation by then working with the builders communities, or our developers testing the tech tools very early on so they can give feedback to the tech players, to improve the tools, or then again the enterprises connecting to the developers and designers to figure out how can we solve real problems. I think having the combination of those three is very, very crucial and kind of like really underestimated in this space right now. And we have been doing this for more than 3 years now, and really over the last 3 years we have accumulated 7,000 plus participants from our online and in-person hackathons, 500 plus projects, represented 100 countries. I mean, this is insane here. I just want to know, like, who of you guys are outside of Europe? There's a pretty good number. It's crazy. So all of you, who of you guys, keep your hands open, who is here outside of Germany? I mean, that's a pretty significant room. That's really cool. So it's a very, very international event. 100 plus countries are represented from our online events, growing our community, getting funding to the builders, to the teams who are building this innovation. And then again, also showcasing and highlighting our partners and community as well with our social media impact. For this event, we have 75 finalists because we had an online qualifier before with roughly 2,000 participants. And now many of them are here, and you can really test out many of these amazing projects. So, lastly, let's address the elephant in the room. Of course, the smart elephant. Smart glasses, AI glasses, they are here. And of course, as you expect, you can try them out at XRCC. Many of them. And really, we have companies like Meta making AI smart glasses affordable at a price of now $300 USD and really pushing the boundaries of driving innovation in this space. And I think like recently they announced like 20 plus new models, which is like a really big push also. But we also have companies like Google focusing on building the platform and unifying the ecosystem with Android XR, building for one device and then you can deploy it to all of them. Because the thing with immersive technologies is, on the one side you have the fully immersive mixed reality XR headsets that you can do and all of the crazy stuff with. On the other side, we have, of course, the audio glasses that have a lot of capabilities, but they are like very lightweight. And then there's like infinite devices in the middle. And all of this is now being explored in terms of use cases, in terms of features, in terms of capabilities. We have companies like Qualcomm who recently introduced Snapdragon Start. So it really helps brands, companies to also launch their own personal AI devices like smart glasses and AI glasses. So you can also build your own glasses now, deploy your own technology, and really have kind of like the data architecture in your own ecosystem. And again, like so many more, but one also even realities, really focusing on minimalism and privacy-first design without a camera. Those are the ones that I'm wearing right now also, in case you haven't seen it. And the cool thing is with these smart glasses and AI capabilities, it's like having an assistant sitting on my face all day long. Okay, assistant on my face sounds kind of wrong. Don't get it the wrong way. Anthony, don't quote it. I see the scared ghost post tomorrow. AI assistant on his face. Oh shit. So, with AI glasses and smart glasses, really I can understand dozens of languages. You guys don't know how many demos I already gave. I just walk into people and then I show them they can understand German or Spanish or French. We just did it yesterday already. Dozens of languages. Never blank out in a presentation. And really remember conversations seamlessly. And I can word them all day long, because unlike traditional VR and MR devices, these are really like non-exhausting. You can have them like 10 hours a day if you want to, and that is not a problem. So they really become a daily driver. But, very big but, very important, they're only as good as the software, as the use cases that we have for those. It's not about the hardware, it's really about what use cases, what software are you guys building on top of those? So, just like XR, and this is something that many people just don't see. Like, that was our very first slogan at XRCC in 2024, that XR is more than just games, to really figure out how can we deploy them across so many different industries. I mean, this is just like a small subset of industries that you can apply XR technology, AI glasses. They're super flexible across any vertical industry. And again, together we can build this ecosystem. It's not that the hardware companies do this by themselves. It's not that the enterprises are like pushing this by themselves, or the content creators, the builders, the developers, the designers. It is really something where we can solve this together. Because one massive problem I see, and I probably will get some approvals and some head nods, is that being in the XR space feels a little bit like being in a small, big family, especially being in the space over 10 plus years. It's the exact same bubble of people that you see over and over and over again. And I think that's why it's so important to also like invite other industries into our ecosystem, or us going into other industries as well. And I think that is exactly what is needed as well. So really to close us off, builders, so developers, designers, product managers, again, it's become a broad term with AI now, so really everybody can build something now. It's really you who decides who win this race. Because all of these big companies, they all need content, they all need use cases, so it's you working together with them, working together with the other partners. And it's really up to you, whether it's some of these like bigger, more established players, or someone of the, let's say, like upcoming hardware manufacturers, some of the upcoming AI glass companies. And the hardware needs the enterprise adoption, who needs the builders? So we all need each other. And this is exactly why we are here together, and this is what we are building with XRCC. Thank you.
What a way to open that up. Thanks, Dinesh. Thank you very much. And also from my side, a warm welcome to everyone. What comes next excites me a lot, and I'm also a little honored by the lineup we have. I come to that in a moment. We are in a transition phase in our industry, right? So the next XR device is going into a direction where it becomes an entertainment device, the form factor is going to change, and it goes a little bit more prosumer, meaning it gets also a little bit more expensive probably. So we all have to see how we can adapt to that. And the other thing we have in our industry is the new kid on the block. It's the smart glasses, right? And they have a tremendous potential. And I couldn't imagine a better lineup to get some inside ideas and hear some thoughts as the one we're going to have right now. And I'm really proud and honored to have them here. I consider all of them almost my friends, and actually my friends. A warm welcome to Tino Krause from Meta, to Matthias Qualcomm, Sammy. Where are you? Where's Sammy? Where's Sammy? Why? And obviously, Martin, I'm so glad that you're going to host this panel. Congratulations. Come up here, please, and have fun, everyone.
All right, good morning, everybody. Really glad to be here. Thank you for having me there. Is the audio working? Perfect, very good. Yeah, thanks also for the kind introductions. I'm in this space for, I think not 10 plus years, but now 15 plus years, which is a bit odd. It's also very odd to hear from Dinesh mention XR devices as the traditional, the legacy devices, right? Which is kind of odd, given that I don't see that many devices out there on the mass market. But let me, before we hand over to these fantastic panelists, let me briefly zoom back a few years. So like I said, I'm in this space for quite a long time, have seen the industry go up and down many times, went through a very weird roller coaster. And yeah, this started like with smartphone AR. So as a kind of first way to demonstrate AR with functional limitations. Of course, it's not very natural, kind of looking through your smartphone display to experience AR. But still, had like a huge hype at some point. You all remember Pokemon Go, but the value was somewhere else. So the next big roller coaster we all have been kind of putting so much hopes in was like Google Glass. But Google Glass is of course no AR device. Still, it kind of created a level of awareness, created a level of controversy, created a level of use cases that people have been thinking about. So even though I'm talking to Google, I wouldn't see that was a success, but still it was important for the industry. It was important why we are all here and why we call those devices legacy devices and feel that enthusiasm in this crowd today. The next big hype cycle topic was the metaverse, of course, right? So much money has been spent on the metaverse. There were even companies who have renamed their company names to something like that, right? Still, so we've been told that everything will become virtual. We've been told that we will interact with digital twins. And even though the metaverse is not there, what the analysts made us believe, it was still like a very important aspect and milestone on the journey where we are today. And neither of those hypes became the mass market, right? But as mentioned, every of those trends created technology, created awareness, created creativity for use cases. And that's why we are here today. And before handing over to the panel, let me tell you a quick anecdote. So I had the pleasure to work for Qualcomm for some years ago. And Qualcomm was of course always like ahead of times. So we had a semiconductor platform called AR2, which was, it still is actually, so the spectacles are currently powered by AR2. So focusing on very complex algorithms, on perception technologies, enabling 3D reconstruction, hand tracking, face tracking, tons of really kind of fantastic technology in there. And then Meta approached us and said, "Hey guys, we have an idea. We wanna bring out smart glasses, which doesn't require any kind of display and doesn't need any fancy hand tracking. And can you provide us a chip for that?" Qualcomm didn't have that. So what Qualcomm did, took the fancy AR2 chip and stripped out tons of features and functions, called it AR1, and this is then became the success story of Ray-Ban Stories. And seeing the enthusiasm in the room for use cases, for all those, give me a second. I think it's time to kind of hand over to the panel. So I got the pleasure of having 3 fantastic panelists here in the room, and a few too many papers here. That gets me a bit out of concept. So I'm starting with Sami, please. So Sami is the head of business development for EMEA Pacific at ByteDance Pico XR. He's driving growth in immersive technologies and XR and virtual reality solutions. He has a strong background in digital video games and business strategy, and was part of the founding team at Matterport and serves at Unity.
Thank you.
Please welcome Tino Krause. He's the regional lead of Meta XR here in the region. And please welcome Matthias Greiner. He's senior product manager at Qualcomm in charge of XR here in the region.
Let me take this one. Good.
So we talked a lot about devices, about smart glasses. So Meta is leading the pack in terms of like the broadest and most diverse spectrum of devices. So at Meta, how do you categorize those devices?
Yeah, first and foremost, morning everyone. Really, really impressed by this community. Special kudos to my Meta mates in the room. Saw already a few in the back. Really, really impressed. And Dinesh, congrats on setting this up. And maybe one little correction. So I'm not the XR lead for the region. So I'm a bit more distant from this. So I'm not an XR expert. I'm leading in general Meta in the region. So probably my perspective is not one as an expert, because this is why you are all on this panel. For me, it's more like talking about the overall strategy, some of the developments we see, where's the market heading overall, but also what is our Meta strategy in this entire segment. And I would say in general, overall, we believe that the future of computing is 3 things. First and foremost, it's wearable. Second, it's AI native, and it's contextual. That's more or less what you can, in our language, TLDR, too long didn't read. That will be the one headline everyone should take away. And independent from where you have invested in the past, and big thank you to all the partners here in the room who are staying true and close to our developments. You talked about all the things that happened in the past around the metaverse. I truly believe that we wouldn't be here and talking about smart glasses, AI glasses, AR glasses, or however you call them, without all the investments from the past. At the same time, I also see that right now we are already at a tipping point, or we are behind the tipping point. So when we talk about numbers and the business, I mean, money follows the eyeball. Everyone knows this. Then I'm really, really excited about the years to come, and more than happy to dig a bit deeper into what does this mean. And a couple of the announcements that we saw last week around new form factors, new devices, new capabilities, different price range. I mean, all this is giving breadth and depth to the market and unlocking also new opportunities for the community here in the room, but also for those who drive their business in the hardware, but also particularly in the developer space.
Very nice. Matthias, most of the XR devices are powered by Qualcomm. So how would you segment the market also like from a kind of SoC standpoint?
First of all, also good morning, everybody. Nice to have you here, and thank you for having me. In regards of categorization, we have to differentiate 2 different platform layers, in my view, which is the form factor and the underlying chip. Qualcomm, so I have to talk about the chips a little bit. In regards of the form factor, we see the full spectrum from VR MR devices, AR optical see-through, and AI devices, and smart private AI devices. Underlaying on the chip basis, we have 2 product lines powering the VR MR devices, and another chip dedicated for AR and AI devices. And I think it's important, as you said, we're powering quite many of these devices out there, and for us it's important that we provide kind of a technology, kind of a horizontal technology base for all these devices, which hopefully also provide a unique base for developers and use cases in the end. Yeah.
Very nice. So, so Sami, looking forward. So we talked about the traditional devices, and you're like, for instance, in enterprise, definitely the market leaders in traditional devices. But if we meet again in 5 years, what will be the device people use every day? Is it like a VR headset? Is it a mixed reality headset? AI glasses? All of the above?
Honestly, I don't know. Because I think the question is not for us, because I think it's for the content creator itself. Because I would just give you one specific example. Steve Jobs decided to release the iPod because he saw people using Walkman, people listening music, and he said, okay, maybe we can find a way to make it more comfortable for people. And of course, people are always talking about smart glasses, but I just made like a small investigation here, and I'm counting roughly 24 people in this room wearing glasses on a total of like, 23 now. But basically on a total scale of 70 seats. So that it's mean like, it's like 20, 25, like 30% on the total people here, where we are all XR specialized. So I think the key question, I think it will be a mix of everything at the end of the day, but the question is more for, that's why we are here, to see where the content creators will go. Because of course, if you are developing more and more smart glasses content, that means smart glasses will be on the market. But you have to think about operation, logistics, and also seeing people wearing devices on daily basis for what use case, for what reasons. So for sure will be a bit of everything, that's for sure, because people will always use XR. XR is not dead, for sure. But the key question is about, the question behind your question is about what people will do with the glasses, with the headsets, and what type of content which can justify someone to use smart glasses or to use a headset.
Very nice. So, so Matthias, thinking about it a bit broader in terms of like, as we talked like device categories and seeing the Qualcomm Star program, they would like mention of like earbuds and smartwatches and the variables. So, how does that fit into the overall vision going forward?
To quote our CEO, we're thinking about the ecosystem of you. So at least from our side, we have the strong belief that there will not be one central device anymore at the user. It will be a constellation of multiple devices, smart devices, including wearables, of course. For me personally, actually, the smart glass is some kind of wearable, maybe different than the pin or the watch, but they all need to work together. And only if all these devices, which in the future will be available at the users, already, I forgot my Apple Watch at home, but even I have now 2 devices, even though I'm a little bit old already. Only when these devices work super seamlessly together, we can create agnostic experiences, we can optimize performance, compute, and in the end power the AI that it really gets personal and performant and create the meaningful output for the user. So we hope that really we create an ecosystem of devices coming all together and providing the best experience for the user.
So from my standpoint, like one of the reasons why all the companies are investing in this space, and I think Meta leads the pack in terms of like having, at least from my standpoint, a device out there that's not only sold to millions of users, but that's also used by millions of users on a daily basis. And I think that's very exciting per se already with the current use cases. And I'd like to focus more on the use cases then. But to me, this is like one important path on the way to hunt for the personal physical AI device. So who owns the physical AI device going forward? And when you look at Qualcomm business unit, that used to be the XR business unit. Now it's called, please correct me if I'm wrong, Matthias, it's like XR variables and personal AI. Is that correct? So Meta has just released a new AI model for the Meta glasses. Pico has announced all kind of like AI improvements onto the enterprise OS down the road. So, Sami, what role would you see XR plays in the context of like the personal physical AI assistant, either like in consumer or in enterprise?
I always said like devices is a medium, it's not the main course, and for sure we are assisting to one of the biggest revolution in the industry with AI, because it's a way to make process shorter or creation shorter. So definitely this will and the AI will be the XR headsets or smart glasses will be a medium to use the AI, and I think that's for me like the key component on them. If we had like an AI tool or AI content, so people can actually play with the AI solution with the headset, that will be the future for sure, because we always have to think like the first reason why people start to use XR was to play games. So that's mean it was intuitive. It was a really smooth way to use something. And this is how you start when you're discovering tech, is to play with it. It's a natural human reaction. So of course, if you are developing a solution able to people to push their imagination, they will not care about the XR devices because it will be a medium, but they will use XR on a daily basis because it's a way for them to actually push the boundaries of their own imagination and own creation, and that's a human natural feeling to do so. And this is where we can actually see potentially using devices which has to be smaller because more comfortable, on a way for people to actually forget about the hardware and just use the AI as a way to build new content, build new assets. So for sure, AI has a big part of it, because as I said, it will be a way for people to play with it. And actually, more you play, more you use the solution for a long period of time, and more you can justify to have a comfortable device. And I think that's why we are all working on getting something comfortable for people to use. Yeah.
Maybe to add from my side, and I fully agree on what the two of you said, I think from our insights also people care less about the technology itself. It's more like what it unlocks for them, how they can, unleash their human potential. And this is right now where every day we learn a ton about, how people are using these things. Some things we were predicting, some things are completely new, and I'm also fully aligned that we will see a variety of different devices, different form factors, etc. Because ultimately, everyone is individual, everyone is different, and everyone is looking for something else. So that's for me also what's needed from a capabilities point of view. We need more devices, we need more form factors, and then use cases and business will always follow ultimately adoption.
Talk about use cases. So, would you see a killer application? I think it's a stupid question.
If I would know this, I
no
would share this on the stage here in the room, so I would build it myself. So,
but kind of ask differently. What type of use case would you reckon creates like a daily usage rate? Would you have any idea?
I mean,
based on what you have seen so
anything
far?
low barrier is what people first jump on. Don't make it too complex, make it easy. I mean, when we look right now into some of our data, how people use our smart glasses, it's pretty basic functions and not always connected to some of the more advanced capabilities from a technological point of view. It's, I don't know, listening to music, making calls, these kind of things, understanding context around them, asking, tell me something about this building, and then the camera takes a picture. I mean, these really, really simple things, this is what matters to people. And I just want to call out, I mean, quite often we talk about mass markets and all these things, but there are also marginalized community like for example, people with low vision, I mean, for them, it's a life changer. I recently had a roundtable with Bundesverband für Blinde und Sehbehinderte, and this allows them to participate in a public life that they wouldn't have otherwise. Because in an AI native smart class environment, they understand the context. You have an AI as an everyday AI assistant who gives you access to opportunities, capabilities, potential that was not there before, and that's the really, really exciting part. Other than that, of course, there's this huge separation between consumers and businesses, enterprise world. You know, and why we at our heart, we are a consumer company, so we are less into this entire enterprise game. And those who deal with us in a business context, they know what we are talking about. Sometimes it's hard to find someone like me who you can talk in person with about meta issues. So for everything we build, first we build for consumers, for the 7 billion people that live on this earth, and then we figure out how about the enterprise, the business side here. But we are true believers that in the moment you have mass adoption out there, then also in the enterprise world, they will figure out how to earn money with that. And just because you ask about use cases in the enterprise world, I mean, at CES, Siemens launched a project with Ray-Ban and us on bringing the Siemens AI onto the smart class. So you give it to your service people, B2B service, but also blue-collar workers. So they have immediately access to a library when they are working on some machines and other things. I mean, these are... And we talked about some of these cases already in the former days of the metaverse and, etc. Now with this new devices category, many of the features from the past are translated into a new form factor, which is easier to use, which you can wear all day long. And that's the exciting part where right now we get from the industry a lot of positive feedback, particularly at the intersection of the smart glasses and AI, because they want to bring their own agents. How to onboard their own agents onto these devices and use it in a very bespoke way that was not possible, let's say, 2-3 years ago.
You're very good. Samuel, it's like Tino brought up the enterprise topic. So having such a strong footprint in the enterprise, what has worked best from a use case standpoint over the past years, and how do you things evolve specifically with AI features being integrated? Do you see this like as major game changers?
Yes.
Okay, Matthias.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I remember. For sure. I mean, like the past years, we saw XR mainly on enterprise, for sure at the beginning. As I mentioned on the consumer, because it was really about a way to play something. But on the enterprise side, XR was a way mostly to train people, to bring knowledge to people, which was a pure cost for companies. Like when you go to, I don't know, BMW, I don't know, they want to train employees using XR solution, they buy the device to train their employees. But it was a pure cost perspective. Why? Because the headset was heavy. The headset, like you can't use a headset for more than 20-30 minutes. So it was not comfortable. So people can't like use it for a long period of time. And what is happening right now is we can see, because again, it's a medium, it's not the end solution. We realize like the fact we are working a lot on the form factor, etc., etc. It's a way for people to use the device for longer periods. So we can transform the pure cost perspective to a pure investment perspective. Like now we see more and more B2B2C use cases, such as what Meta has done with Lufthansa, where actually people they will get the device into airplanes just to watch content, because potentially they can see and play with something for a long period of time. And this is where the companies can say, okay, now I see a reason to invest on XR, because more the device is comfortable, more people can use the device for a long period of time, more it could be a tool to convince someone to buy a product and then to make money out of it. So I think we are moving from a pure cost use case such as training or educate student, like education, to a pure B2B2C when corporates will say, okay, I'm investing on XR because my clients can use XR for a long period of time and I can make money out of it. It's a new business model. So, and this is where we're moving from pure training cost perspectives to B2B2C investment, return investment perspective. So retail, marketing, sales, in-flight, in entertainment projects. Yeah.
And for pure enterprise, so you emphasized on training. Would you see other use cases that are of particular relevance at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said, the classic one was training or healthcare to care about the patient, education, where actually you are giving devices for the student, etc. So the classic one, when I think everybody knows, but I think we are that's why I always say XR is not dead. I think it's the opposite. I think we went through only 20% of XR because again, the use case was limited because you can't use a device for 20 minutes. So that's why we went through training use cases or healthcare use cases or education use cases where people were wearing the device for 20 minutes just to get knowledge about something without going through like full education, like educator system. But now we see new use cases like retail, sales and marketing, like putting devices into showrooms so people can see the product in a high resolution to buy the product behind. And this is, I think, the future of XR is moving from 20% to potentially 50, 60% of the market, because actually we work a lot as manufacturer to make things smaller, comfortable, so people can use the device for a long period of time, which means you can open new use case and build content on those new use cases to say, now my content will be used by my client to make money out of it.
Thank you. So Matthias, Qualcomm's approach of kind of going after the enterprise is also investing heavily into Android XR together with Google. From my standpoint, I think one of the biggest benefits is having like one fits all platform. I think Dinesh mentioned that with the X-Trail device, with a Samsung device. So what's your take and what your belief on Android XR and how will that also affect consumer and enterprise segments going forward?
Yeah, as you fully correctly said, and especially as you fully correctly said, enterprise brings own requirements and own expectations, and especially on the hardware side and the software side. For me, Android XR is right at the moment relatively unique because if you look at the device and software ecosystem, and especially operating software system, technically every device brings its own software layer on top, which makes it pretty difficult for developers in general, but especially for enterprise, to be able to scale within their use cases. And Android XR is a small and first step, but important step, because it works cross-device. So you can even not only cross-device, but even cross-form factor right now with the new X-Trail device, which simply allows especially enterprise customers to scale within their use cases. On the other side, Android might not be the most beloved platform for enterprise, but at least it's something they know. And Android XR obviously brings enterprise closer into the Android world. They know device distribution, app distribution, security topics, and all these kind of things. So in the end, the hope is, and I'm pretty sure the first steps have been made, that Android XR provides a more reliable, a more predictive, a more scalable platform, especially for enterprise, which is definitely necessary now that other players have left the market in that field.
Tino, Meta closed its business program, or Quest for Enterprise, sorry, still is super relevant in the enterprise space. Do you consider that mostly as a niche or something that just is already kind of creating real business and you don't need to do that much hand-holding in order to be successful?
Yeah, I think our approach has significantly changed. I mean, there were some years where we tried to be everywhere, but I also said earlier, we are at our heart, we are not an enterprise company. So that's why I think we are now refocused to build world-class products and then more lean into the ecosystem that is also here in the room to develop the markets and the opportunities that are connected to this technology. So that's why we shifted a bit our focus. on a few key partners globally, and then more through open interfaces to support of communities like today here, but also other forums to unlock the ecosystem, then to build the solution. This is how I would describe our approach. I know it can be sometimes painful, but also in parts this is a global direction we believe is the right one, and I do not foresee that there will be a change in direction again.
Very nice. So I have like a few more topics, but are there any pressing questions from the audience to the panelists you would like to bring up and have mentioned and discussed?
Yeah, thank you, Moritz Quaisner, Charité, Universitätsmedizin Berlin. I found this last topic very interesting on use case development and innovation processes that was just mentioned. We had in the beginning, we had this slide of technology companies provide the technology, which is you guys, and we have enterprises providing the use cases, and we have builders that provide the content. And I wonder, we have so incredible technology out there and incredibly quality of builders and developers and designers. I think currently we have a lack of use cases and a lack of skilled people in enterprises who can develop and understand what this technology can do. So my question to you would be, how do you see yourself as more technology providers? As far as I understand, this is something you also want to develop. How would you like to intervene, or what strategies do you have to go into this kind of use case development space? Is that something you consider also a task of your companies or your position? Or is this rather say something like, hey, we're providing the hardware and that's good to go, now it's your turn? Like, the background of that is, I don't want to talk too long, but just one sentence, is that I think we need more skilled people in the enterprise domain to develop good use cases, because I think that is currently, from my point of view, the largest lack of innovation drivers.
Who want to answer that?
I can start if you want. The answer is we're here because that is conference, but also hackathon. And especially for Qualcomm, I can say the developer first kind of perspective becomes more and more important. Of course, we are in the end a hardware company and a chip company, but we definitely want to kind of climb up the stack a little bit and understand better what developers do, what people do with our chips and with all the things on top of the chip. And we also want to understand their feedback, because right at the moment the things become so complex, energy consumption, low power island, what do people do on the firmware, on the software, on the OS, and all these kind of things are extremely important for us to design better chips in the future. And so I fully agree. I think there's still a little gap in between technology and people who work on the use cases, but at least from our side, we really try to do that step in direction of developers, attend hackathons, conferences, listen, tell, show, demo, and that way improve in the end the product.
Yeah, maybe from our side, that's different to the Qualcomm partners here on stage, because we will focus on the technology. Of course, we have people like Bastian Schützi also in the room, content strategist, and he's developing some of these inspiring lighthouses to spark this, thinking about what's possible with this technology. But in general, this won't be an area of business we will go into. It's more like that we try to be as open as possible and invite partnership with others, and invite the community here in the room to develop these things. But our focus, as I said, will always be, I would say, 80% on consumers and only 20% on enterprise.
Any more questions from the audience?
Oh, I didn't reply.
Sammy, you had something in mind you wanted to share with everyone. So, go ahead. Sammy, please go ahead.
If you don't
want
me to talk, I'm fine. No, I think on the B2B side, I think the key aspect of it is to supporting you more than the opposites, because if we start, we are enterprise focused, and if we start to make content for our clients or customers, in some way we'll start to compete against you. and this is something we don't want to see happening. So, but we are also Bidens, so that means everyone wants to talk with us. So I think our mission on the enterprise side is actually start beforehand, talk to the customer because everyone wants to talk to us, and then come back to you guys, and that's actually why I'm here, come back to you guys and say, oh, I know that customer wants this, that customer wants this, and then I write with you in a way, that's our job, to build the markets, because we have the resources, we have the skills, we have the team, we can make innovation on the hardware side. But I think it's important also, it's also our responsibilities to help you guys to build something for the markets. And that's why, because everyone is talking to us, and that's why I think it's important to be on those hackathons, so that it means we can come to you and say, we know what the industry is looking forward, but we will ask you to make the content, because it's not our job, because we don't want to compete against you. We want to do the hard part, which is about convincing the client to move to XR, and then it's up to you following us to actually make the content for our clients to be happy. So that's our vision. And that's why we have a really open platform at Pico, because hardware is a medium, and we need content. We need developers to make the content out of it, because clients will never buy hardware alone. They will buy a solution, and hardware is just a medium. So that's why we have an open platform, etc.
Thanks a lot. So, any other questions from the audience here?
So first of all, thank you, and it's so cool to see you all here. I hope me being starstruck will not affect my English skills too much. We had mentioned the medical, for instance, the medical industry and industry as a whole, and the question will more be into the direction of Timo and Sammy, because of the hardware providers. Are there any plans, or what are the plans for being industry ready, like drug devices, or especially the medical context will need special devices, for instance, in the OR or general use in hospitals? So are there any bigger plans to approach this kind of audience and use cases at all? Or is it like such edge cases that it doesn't matter? At the moment, at least.
No, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. I would say in general we put a lot of empathy on and emphasis on. I would say more. I mean, coming from our mission, we normally look into where can technology have the biggest positive impact, and definitely in these segments. And I talked earlier about people with low vision. So I know there is one specific team working particularly on health things and how to work with hospitals, but also with academia to look into how this technology can do the work of people working at the hospital, particularly also for people with health issues, make it easier. But again, it's more like, this will be a super small team, which probably will pick 2 or 3 cases globally to work on such things, and then talk about these by publishing a white paper or something like this, and then it's on you, who build maybe also your business around in this segment, to pick it up and translate this into a model that works for you and also works for also particularly your region, because we all know that the DACH region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, is different to Europe, is different to rest of the world. So there are specifics where we do not have the insights to provide local technology that completely fulfills all the local requirements. So this is where the partnership with people like you is so important to build these solutions.
I think you speak German, right?
Yep.
Maybe, I think one of my colleagues who is specialized in medical can actually reply to you more than what I'm going to say to you. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. So the guy, can you raise your hand, Rob? No, so I really recommend you talk to this guy, but for sure we have a healthcare division right now, because you say something, I can tell you we don't care. It's not like the right word, because we are saving lives on the healthcare, and we are investing a lot on saving lives, because potentially we can all be impacted here by, so I can tell you for sure we're investing a lot of on really small thing, like, okay, and that's why you are really important to have feedback, like, could we think about, just the hardware itself, the texture of the hardware, could we have, do we have to put silicon on the device? Yes and no, because if we bring a device to the hospital, maybe silicon will not be admitted? That's the key. Or could we have to do fabric strap? You know, those really basic questions is really important to get answers, and that's why we have a specific team of healthcare working a lot on the eye tracking as well. Is super important. So healthcare is a dedicated market for us, and actually it's really important to get feedback, because content is one thing, but hardware is super important, because if you can't bring the device into a hospital, it's a done game. So, but for sure, my colleague can reply to you more than I do, and he speaks German.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Just a quick question from my side. So, how do we nudge the consumers to actually accept the technology and the content, right? Rarely we see like mobile apps being questioned. I work with Siemens Healthineers, and I've been into XR space for a long time. Most of my time goes into trying to prove the effectiveness of XR training, run after KPIs, and trying to make sure the consumers understand how valuable it is. How do we bring in this paradigm shift of the consumer so that by default, you know, when they see a mobile phone and an XR device, they reach out for, let's say, the glasses to try on the technology and learn from there?
I mean, from my perspective, and this is a very, very deep insight, which is currently, I think, driving 80 or 90% of the acceleration. And we talk about triple sales in 2024, triple sales in 2025, and I think this will continue. Most important is it's not the technology itself, it's the form factor. I mean, that's the reason why we have been partnering with Ray-Ban. That's why we launched Oakley as a specific use case. This is why I'm also, you know, excited to see that, you know, Google is partnering with Gentle Monster or Warby Parker. I mean, this is what people ultimately care about. So, and to create desirability, don't talk about all the technical features. Talk about, you know, the design and what this unlocks. And I mean, last week we launched our first party device range, and you know, everyone was talking about Kylie Jenner. So make this a cultural moment, and then people will adopt and will figure out what it does for them, but also what it does not for them. And then the latest one, of course, I think the variety we're going to see in different wearables, different shapes and different forms will also drive adoption. And ultimately right now we have our product range are probably around 35 different form factors. And you know, you can now start to change the fitting of it. It was not possible before. These smaller things sometimes unlock or are built on a deeper insight, which then unlocks significant additional adoption. So that's what I foresee, and ultimately, I think the ambition is that it becomes an everyday companion, you know, which you don't feel anymore wearing, or no matter it's a wristband or it's a pin or it's a glass or whatever. So it's an everyday companion, which you naturally reach out. Probably this will take another 4 or 5 years, but that's at least the future we're gonna see right now. And early numbers, and I think Camillo, you have in one of your slides maybe, at least yesterday at the IFA opening, you shared some of these numbers. You see a trajectory on devices sold, you know, without sharing secret, but in this closed community, you know, looking just at the numbers, I can confirm that we are on a great trajectory, and all the numbers you see are probably proven right now to the day today. So that's why I'm not worried. I'm really excited.
Sounds exciting as well.
If I might just add something, and in the end I just repeat what you said before.
That's good, reach and frequency, you know, we need this.
Exactly. I think the key is super high level, but the key is don't talk so much about technology. Think about use case and kind of the integration. As soon as the end user doesn't understand anymore that he or she uses technology, we have won. I'm in the business for 2008, and we are kind of 10 times already said, in 3 years we're going to have it. No, not there yet, but we're coming closer. And I think especially for me personally, the Ray-Ban Meta was a significant step in the right direction, because it was the very first time that you had something with a lot of technology in the form factor of a real glass. And that was, for me, a game changer. Of course, if you look at other devices we had in the past, they could do much more. As you said, the chips and also the form factors. But in the end, the user didn't adopt it because they were bulky, they were far away, they didn't work, they overheated, and all these kind of things. And step by step, I think the devices improve, and in the same way, they step in the background. And that is the important part.
I have an additional thought. And in your opening, Dinesh, you talked about the smart elephant in the room. I want to call out the elephant here in the room. It's privacy. Yesterday at the IFA opening, first question I got was about privacy, data protection, and all these things. And I think these are important topics where, and for me, the underlying question, there's always this misconception about Germany, Austria, Switzerland, where people say, yeah, you know, privacy, data protection, but the underlying question is more, can this brand, can these institutions be trusted? And I think this is also where this community is important to talk openly about these things. And quite often then you get, you know, you talk about all the privacy features that are incorporated into all of the devices, like, you know, most of the data, most of the processing happens on the device and stays on the device. Of course, you have the LED display, the LED lamp, which demonstrates when the camera is active. And then you make these comparisons, like, you know, when somebody's sitting like this and taking a picture or taking a video, then you don't have this. But still, there is this scrutiny, of course, because of our own history, quite often towards Meta on these things. At the same time, I just want to share with all of you that we take this super seriously, and, you know, privacy is built in by design, how we do these things. Nevertheless, trust is one of the biggest blockers that we're going to face, particularly here, to drive adoption towards, I don't know, 50, 100 million devices sold over the next years. And there is a joint effort needed to remove some of these things and prove that, you know, this is meaningful in a positive way for people. And of course, there will always be bad actors who will misuse technology, but you can do this with everyone. So there is a joint effort needed to address these also big elephant in the room, which is in every room also here. I can see it.
It seems like Camilo is threatening entering the stage.
Oh, yeah, Camilo, sorry, you also had a question, sorry. We have to move forward, move on, right?
Or do we have another
Sorry.
3 minutes? 3 or 4 minutes or no?
Yeah, sure. But my question, Tino, like you connected to all those major brands, right? Due to your daily business. What is the most promising or the most asked question? Like, which industry approaches you and asking most for a smart glasses solution? Like, can you point us in direction? Is it tourism? Is it heavy blue color? Is there?
I would say the backbone of the German industry. I mean, when I talk to OEMs in the automotive space, when I talk to like Siemens, for example, who brought their own AI agent now, or integrated this into Ray-Ban, our smart glasses. I mean, I quite often have these conversations. What if in the future we could equip every worker, no matter if blue collar or white collar, with an always-on AI assistant, which helps in sales, which helps in customer support, which helps in manufacturing, which helps in developing, in designing. So this vision, I quite often hear from, you know, the boardrooms I talk to, but I would still say that the typical German backbone industry, those are the ones that show the highest interest in this, because they know these are also the industries which are currently the most challenged globally. You know, when you talk to automotive, it's tough times in automotive. So they have to disrupt in a way themselves, and they have to be smarter, they have to try new things. And quite often they are complex organizations and things are, you know, falling through the cracks while they are developing a project. But they know they have to transform, and AI and smart glasses can help them to be more creative, more efficient, and more productive. So that's TLDR for my conversations.
Perfect. So guys, keep that in mind, right? When you're building solutions or when you consider solutions, what to build them for. Matthias, quick question. You launched or announced the Qualcomm Snapdragon Start program. You showed a chip and everything. You showed glasses. Sorry? You showed the glasses, yes. Right?
Yes.
Wearables, other form factors also in the pipeline coming? Just it's okay.
Let's see.
Let's see. Okay, I take it as a yes. Sammy, from your perspective, you know what you got, obviously, cooking with your new upcoming device. What is the most promising industry? Like I was at the Cannes Film Festival. I was immense impressed with the LBE community. I think that's a very, very strong industry for our XR field. Is there any other industry you say, guys, let's focus on that, or have a look at that with the upcoming things you have in mind?
Not sure what you're talking about.
But if you would recommend me something to look into an industry or solution, what would it be?
I will not reply as a Pico rep. I will reply as a content creator.
Friend.
If you don't mind. I will, I always said like, XR will not come to reply a bit to your question about consumer as well. Before to go to consumer, it has to be the opposite. That is, consumer needs to see the device on. Imagine you want to go to an airplane, you want to go to a hotel, and suddenly you see something which is an XR device. You play with it, and you play games or you watch content, movies. And I think I will say, if I were today a content developer, I will really focusing on application to enable people to have like small basic interaction on playing video games or playing games, or also supporting every B2B2C use cases when someone can actually use a solution as a way to sell something. Because what is happening in the industry right now is we see more and more corporates using the small form factor as a way to sell something. And if you are providing a solution to enable them to sell their own product faster or their own customer experience faster, that you will, for sure, based on our own metrics, you will make lots of money, because more you are focusing on everything related to customer experience, that's if your solution is able to increase the customer experience of the companies we are working with, such as airlines or trains or hotels or automotive, you will get a massive chunk of money, because automakers, for instance, they're not going to use, we see more and more customers saying, maybe we can buy a few devices for our employees, but we want to deploy devices to sell our cars. Because the Chinese brand is coming, they are innovating a lot, so we have to do the same. Can you give me a solution for me to make more money, to sell my cars? Can I have a configurator? Can I have an AI companion to help my employees to sell the cars to my clients? And I think instead of thinking about one industry, you have to think about the use case. And actually, I see more and more people saying we can invest money if at the end of the day, we can sell our business model to our clients. So I will say everything related to B2B2C is super important right now. Done.
Perfect, yeah. Thank you very much for having that fantastic panel with such a great guest attending. And
thank you, Martin.
Heading over to you.
Thank you so much, guys. Please, a round of applause to our guests.